Welcome into a KLSU sports interview. I'm Andre Champagne, and I'm joined by William Gilreath, Randall and Wilson behind the table, and we are privileged here to be joined by Assistant Director of LSU Women's Basketball Operations, Joe Schwartz. Welcome into Hodges Hall.
Well, thank y'all. It's nice to be here. Love, first of all, what y'all do. I was a communication student myself, so I have a great appreciation for what y'all do. And it's really cool to see kids pursuing their dreams, especially at a university like this. I mean, you've got everything you want here. You've got great sports, you've got great people, you've got great food, you've got a great community. So big applause to y'all for doing stuff like this.
Well, I appreciate it. And I feel like this has been due, right? Like especially us two, because I remember after the Natty game, I interviewed you, literally on the court, and that was just such a surreal moment for everyone, pretty much. And so, just starting off, I mean, how nice has this reset been for the team? Not only last week to have that week kind of to rest, and just kind of not step away from basketball, but I saw y'all did a few events, the Crawfish Boil, and what's kind of that schedule been looking like getting back into the swing of things?
Well, it's been real nice. On the men's side, you go from your conference tournament straight into the NCAA tournament, and that's really tough. I mean, you literally have some men's teams. I think the Big Ten tournament championship game ended as the selection show was starting. So that's kind of tough with travel and everything. So for us, having the SEC tournament a week before the selection show gives you a chance to kind of decompress and not necessarily step away from basketball, but it allows you to kind of reset, whether you go and win the SEC tournament or you win a game there, win 2 games, whatever it may be. It's kind of just one more checkpoint. We like to break our season into 4 different parts. You obviously have the preseason, and then you've got your non-conference, and then you've got SEC and SEC tournament, and then boom, that's the 3rd season right there. So put the first 3 seasons behind you, and the most important one's the 4th one. It's like a 4-quarter game. So the 4th quarter is NCAA tournament. It's when you want to be playing your best basketball. It's when you want to be healthy. It's when you want all things clicking on all cylinders. Well, our team wasn't, and we had lost a few games in a row. We were kind of banged up. So the end of that 3rd quarter, so to speak, the end of SEC play and into the SEC tournament, we weren't at our best, and we weren't playing great basketball. We were a little banged up with Flage having some shin injuries and Anissa's foot. But all things, I can assure you, we are 100%. Right. We're ready to roll. But yeah, in that off week, the girls got a lot of treatment. We took 2 days off. Got a lot of good individual work in. Strength coach worked with them. Got some good conditioning in. And then we had a team crawfish boil on Thursday.
Nice.
And had a good hard practice on Friday. And then we had a game simulation, basically a scrimmage, 4 quarters on Saturday morning.
Awesome.
Just to make sure we're still in game shape. It's very hard to simulate that, but 4 good quarters. And then Sunday, day off, which was kind of nice. We had a recruit in town from Thursday night to Sunday, so the staff was a little tired. But it's really not – like tired isn't really a thing this time of year for us.
Yeah.
You get some sleep when you can. Last night I was in bed pretty early, and I just had all types of stuff going on in my head, and pulled up some Florida State film, pulled up some San Diego State film. Like, you're always on go mode right now. You have to be on high alert. Your brain's working in crazy ways. So that's kind of what the week looked like. And then as soon as we got the draw on Sunday night, it was back to the drawing board. And we know what lies ahead of us now.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of LSU fans are going to be happy that you said you're fully healthy. More of a personal question for you. What's been the most rewarding part about your position with this team over the past couple of years?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the success that I've gotten to see from the team, but also from individual players. So you go back to our very first year, we inherited a team that won 9 ball games the year before. We turned that around and was like night and day. I mean, we had kids like Jalen Cherry, Caleb Pointer, Autumn, Foss, kids that didn't know what it was like to win. And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know what it feels like to win. I had a very good high school career. Lost in 2 state championships, 1 regional final, and 1 state semifinal. Got to college and played at the University of Texas, but never won an NCAA tournament game. So my first year under Coach Mulkey, not only did she do what she did with a group that had never won anything before, but she had staff members like me who had never won anything really before. So winning 1 NCAA tournament game that year, that was big for me. That was rewarding, but it was also big to the program. And then you obviously second year, like we won a national championship. Yeah. So I think it's just been so special to work under one of the best coaches ever on the men's or women's side. And she knows what she's doing. Right. And I've played for some great coaches. I played for Rick Barnes. I played for Shaka Smart. They know what they're doing. They're great coaches. They've been to Final Fours. But seeing what Coach Mulkey was able to do in such a short amount of time has been so special to me because I've been a part of it. Yeah. And growing up, I've known Coach since I was 4 years old. So I always got to watch her at Baylor. But I was never on the inside. Even though I would travel with their team because her son's one of my best friends, we would go on all those trips, on those tournament runs they used to make. I never had I wasn't really – I was emotionally tied to it because she was a family friend. But now knowing how much work I pour in, how much work the staff pours in, being able to be rewarded for that is so special. And, like, I just love it here. It's just it's really cool to see young children – not children, young adults succeed. And we've got a great group of girls – but that's in large part to who our coach is. She recruits that type of player who comes from all different walks of life, and she figures out how to bring them together and put them in a position to win ball games.
And so, like, you kind of mentioned watching film last night, right? What does a typical day look like for you? I know you were a big deal in breaking down film, right? As far as, you know, just kind of preparing for other teams, right?
I would say the biggest film guru is Bob Starkey, and I've learned so much from that man in 3 years. I really don't know how he does what he does and continues to do it. He's done it for a long time. He did it for Dale Brown here. He's done it for all types of coaches. But we as a staff all have different responsibilities, and the main kind of goal is just to win. Like, what can we do to help our team win? So one of the things that I've started doing this year, whether it's with Flage, whether it's with some more of our guards, like, they want to see things that they've done well, but also things that they can improve on. And in certain situations, it's like, so why did we decide to take the shot? It's not necessarily a bad shot, but look at time and score. Like, did we need to take a shot that early in the shot clock? So more situational film for individuals. But one thing that Coach Mulkey always talks about is the staff being at their best. And coach can only be as good as her staff, and our staff can only be as good as our head coach. So we can all agree as a staff that we've had some lapses this year in games, blowing big leads. And not that falls on the staff, but in a way it does. So it's like we have to look in the mirror. We tell our kids they have to hold themselves accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable too. So going back and watching certain games where we let big leads slip away, or why did we get down early and have to crawl back? I mean, you go back to Murray State early in the year, we're down at halftime, and we end up winning the game by double figures, but it's like we've had to battle in so many games this year.
Stanford
game.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma. We blew Tennessee on the road. You name it. There's probably a game that we were down. I think there was a stat graphic that popped up a couple of weeks ago in one of our games, and we led the nation in
comeback wins,
double-digit comeback wins this year.
I want to say they were. Don't quote me. I want to say it was something around 7 or 8 wins.
Or 7 or 6, 7, 8, something like that. But it's like part of us as a staff, like we're proud of it because we're pulling those close games out. But at the same time, it's like, why are we getting down by double digits?
Right.
But yeah, kind of a normal day. No day is really the exact same for me. A lot of people joke that I may not be in the office as much. I normally like to start my day off at the gym. Whether kids want to get shots up, whether they want to watch some film, whether I want to work out. So I'm normally over either at the office or at the gym around 9. get a workout in or meet with some of the players. Then I'm over at the office. I help Coach Starkey with a lot of different things. He's kind of our defensive guru, and we chart a lot of different defensive statistics. So I'm in pretty constant communication with him on defensive stuff. Obviously, when we're working on scouting reports, Coach Kalen and Coach Bob, they had a lot of that. So if they ever need help with stuff, it's all hands on deck. And then about 11:30, 12, quick bite to eat, back over to the gym, and then we're getting ready for practice. Whether kids want to get shots up before practice, they want to get a workout in, watch film, or sometimes, honestly, what these young kids need, they just want to kick it in the lounge. Like, we have a great lounge over in the facility. Bunch of couches. We got a PlayStation. We've got a kitchen. So
brand new.
Sometimes they just want to just decompress, and some days it's all about basketball before practice, and some days it's just like, all right, how's your day going? How's the family doing? Like different things like that. So it's a very family oriented group, and people throw the word family around in this sport, but it's like, go look at our staff. I mean, you've got Jennifer, who's been on staff with Coach for 23 years. You've got Jordan, Daphne, and Kaylin, who have all been with Coach double-digit years. Coach G's new to the staff, but Coach G's wife and Daphne played college ball together.
And they clicked
like that. So, and then obviously I've known Coach for a long, long time, I guess going on 21 years now, 22 years, something like that, however old I am. And then Shantae was Coach's first GA at Baylor. So you want to throw that word family around. I think we did the math. Like, we've got over 110 years of relationship with Coach Mulkey combined. So other staffs can throw that around, but I think that's what makes us so good. There's not
stability.
Yeah. And there's not much turnover on Coach's staff. Like, obviously she wants the young staff members to grow, and if they're ever interested in taking a head job somewhere, she's going to help them. But we've got it pretty good here. We've got a good boss. She's very intense. And there's days where we see that intensity because we've got to be at our best. And there may be days where she jumps us and says we do something wrong. You take it on the chin and you react to it. Like, you got to hold yourself accountable and fix what you made a mistake on and be better at it, because there's a reason she's won 4 national championships. And that's why she's allowed to be who she is. Like, there's some bosses that they may come in and scream at you. What good does that do? They don't have anything to back it up. Coach has 4 national championships to back it up. She's at 750 wins. Like, she's done pretty good. So it's hard to argue with.
Something's working.
Naismith Hall of Famer. Exactly.
Something's working for sure.
You mentioned the turnaround that Coach Kim brought to the program, and a big reason for that is the recruiting. It seems like you and Gary Reedus and other members of the staff as well, but you guys are just so strong in that aspect. You just signed the #1 class in the nation, and it's not just with high schoolers, but also in the transfer portal. Can you kind of talk about why you think you've had so much success on the recruiting trail the last couple of years?
I think it's a testament to our staff. I am the youngest one and the newest one when it comes to women's basketball. When I was in college, and as a player, and my first couple of years out of college, when I wasn't on the women's side yet, I could tell you every men's AAU team, every recruit, where they're from, who their AAU coach is, who their high school coach is, who their family members were, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a junkie.
Jumping to the women's side, it's a little different. There's not just like a textbook that say, here's how to recruit women's basketball. So the first couple of years, G kind of took me under his wing and has showed me the way. Last year, the NCAA actually changed the rule where we could have 6 coaches go out on the road during the summer. So I actually got a little bit of experience going on the road. And I've expressed my interest to him. I'm like, gee, I want, like, this portal season, like, I want to help you. And we've decided, not that G does all the work, but we want to be very intentional about this year's class. Like, what exactly do we need? Who are we going after? Why are we going after them? Like, are we just going to get a kid, or like, we've got to make it make sense, because we've got a pretty deep roster right now, and we're not losing a ton. We're losing some. But you want to keep building on the things that you have. It's
experience.
Exactly. There's some coaches right now that, like Rick Pitino, he's talking about, well, why would I ever recruit a high school kid? Okay, that's the way you want to go. Cool.
Yeah.
TCU on the women's side, they're all big into the portal. I think they have like double-digit kids from the portal. So, like, you've got to know what you want. We are never going to turn down a high school kid.
Right.
That's one thing that Coach is very passionate about. She uses her son as an example all the time. Kramer came here, was playing behind Alex Bregman, didn't see much his first 2 years here, and boom, junior and senior year, he's a 2-time All-American, went to the College World Series. Like, he could have transferred. He could have gone somewhere else. And I'm not knocking the transfer portal.
Right.
We love transfers. Anissa Morrow, Angel Reese, Jasmine Carson.
LaDeja
Williams.
Yeah.
Like, you look at some of those kids who have come in over – Haley Van Lith even. I mean, she helped us. But you have to understand that in order to build a culture – you've got to keep kids. Amani Bartlett hadn't seen the court much at all in 4 years.
Huge locker room presence.
She's locker room presence. She's vocal in practice. She's just a great kid, and she's friendly with everyone. And she's put herself into a leadership role that only she could do because she's been here through it all. She was here that first year when we were trying to figure things out. And she was here for that national championship team. In that year. And then last year, obviously, we fell a little bit short, but you've got to have kids that are willing to buy into what we're trying to do. And it's hard when you only get them for a year out of the portal. So I think someone like Miracle Shepherd, a younger kid out of the portal, a kid like Kaylin Gilbert, a younger kid out of the portal, give them a couple years to learn. But at the same time, if there's like one or two things that you're missing out on, or something you need to replace, like an Anissa Morrow or an Angel Reese, like we may have to go get a big in the portal that can get us double-digit rebounds a game or something like that. So we can be very specific, and I think a lot of that, once again, everything that we do is like all because of Coach Mulkey. Like, why are we in this position? It's because of who our head coach is.
Right.
So, I mean, I want to keep learning this recruiting side of things. I think one thing that really benefits me is when I was in college, I was always one of the guys that was hosting recruits. So as a player, like when we would have recruits come in town,
they'd stick with you.
They'd stick with me, and I'd show them the way. And I've gotten to learn about Baton Rouge. I've gotten to learn about LSU. And so when kids step foot on campus, like I'm able to kick it with them. Hey, let's go check out this college, or let's go to engineering school, or let me show you Mike the Tiger's. Like, you've got to be able to be. You don't want to be these kids' best friends, but you got to be relatable. And Coach Starkey, when he was in his younger days, he would have done that. But he'll be the first to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and be with a recruit for 10 hours. I mean, Coach G and I spent probably an hour and a half over at Football Recovery this weekend with the recruit. We were playing air hockey, shuffleboard, ping pong. It was my first time over there since it got renovated. It's awesome over there. And it's like
the new floor.
The new floor, with the balcony. Like it was just after the rainstorm had finished, and it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And we, like Coach G, myself, Coach Daphne, like we've got the energy to sit there on a Saturday afternoon to just kick it with a recruit. And like if our kids ever want to just come up to the gym and get shots up, like we've got that energy. So I think it's each staff member finding their niche of what they do best, and certain kids that I don't want to say get along with better, because we love every kid on our team, but it's like, one kid may get along better with one coach, or have the same interest, whatever it may be. You've got to find, we got 10, 11, 12 coaches on our staff. Like different kids are going to kind of navigate towards different coaches. So
I guess that helps, like you said, the 6 coaches on the road. Hey, if that kid doesn't go in and relate to one coach, shoot, they sure as hell are going to do it with another one of those 5 coaches. Is that kind of what you're saying?
You're exactly right. But the one thing I will say, and it's one thing that we like to pride ourselves on, when a recruit comes in, it doesn't matter if they're unranked and not on any boards, or they're the number one recruit in the country. The second they get in town, it's all hands on deck as a staff. Now, obviously, we may not all be with them for the whole time, but when they show up to the airport, we've got 4 or 5 staff members waiting at the airport. We've got 1 or 2 staff members picking up dinner for them. We've got the rest of the staff at the hotel waiting for them, because that's who we are. Like if you are around our staff every day, you're going to see we're always together in some capacity, whether it's on the practice court, whether it's in a staff meeting, whatever it is. There's really no hiding from us. Like that's just how we are.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about Coach Mulkey and giving her that credit. Obviously, one of the most misunderstood people, literally, just not only on a national level, coaching wise, just I feel like in the world, right? Talk about your relationship with her and how much she means to you, and what people really don't understand off the camera, right? Like, because I know that y'all hold a very special bond, right?
Right. I've been very fortunate. I've known Coach, like I said, since I was 4 years old. Pretty much from the week she got the job at Baylor. My parents met her. Her son became one of my best friends. We started playing sports together. My brother and Kramer are actually the same age. I'm a year younger. But I always played up. Yep. Our dads all coached together. Some years it was flag football, it was basketball, it was baseball, whatever sport it was, soccer. But I was the young one, so I was always playing up on those teams. But Coach Mulkey was always around. And that's, I think, the coolest thing that I got to see. She's a mother first. Yep. She's always going to say that. Now she's a grandmother. So actually, she may be a grandmother first, if we're being real honest. She loves the grandkids more than anything. Yeah. I'm kidding. She loves everyone. But being able to see Coach as a mother and as a grandmother, really over the past 8 to 10 years, as I've gotten older, has given me such a better understanding of her. Like I said, growing up, I always saw her from afar, winning national championships. Even though I was there when she was at Baylor, I was there for all 3 of her national championships as a fan.
Right.
And it never really struck me how great of a coach she was, because I guess I took it for granted. Like, oh, she's in little old Waco. Just winning a national championship at Baylor. That's cool. Won one in 2005. All right, let's go win another one in 2012.
Because it just felt normal at that point.
That was the norm. But she was the head coach on the sideline, but at the same time, she was the mom at the Little League game. She was the mom in the gym at the basketball tournaments. Like, it was always that. And then when Kramer started playing high school football, we went to different high schools. So on Friday nights, I'd finish basketball practice and I'd drive to her house, and there were a lot of weekends where I'd ride with Coach Mulkey to Kramer's football games. And there was this bond that it just felt so real and so normal. And I don't think that's what people understand. Like, she's as real as they come. Yeah. She's going to call it like it is, whether you like it or not. She's never going to lie to you. She's always going to tell the truth. But she's as tough and competitive as anyone I've ever been around. That woman hates losing more than she loves winning. And
that's what you need, though.
And that's what you want. Not that I can ever be where she is, because I'm not that age. I'm not that caliber yet. Maybe one day. But it's pretty miserable to be around her when we lose. Yeah. And I love that. And that's why I'm in it. Like, if you don't hate losing, it's hard to be a really, really good coach. Yeah. And I think it's one of my favorite things that Bob Knight used to always talk about. He was like, when we lost, I never slept. I was so mad, and I wanted everyone around me, my coaches, my players, my managers, to feel how miserable I was until we won that next game. And Coach Mulkey's not ever going to make people feel miserable, but you're going to see that firepower. You're going to see that juice from her when we lose a game. Like, there's no joking around, no laughing. Like, this is serious. And she means business. That's why she has an 86-point-something% win percentage as a head coach. Like,
it sets the tone for y'all,
too, right? Exactly. So I've been very blessed to be around Coach. Even when I was in college, one of her former assistants was the head coach at Texas, and I didn't really get along with her well. And it was because of my relationship with Coach Mulkey. And that just is what it is. Like, so I was one of Coach Mulkey's biggest fans. In fact, when Baylor used to come play Texas in Austin, I would sit behind Baylor's bench because Coach would always leave me tickets. And I just love that about Coach. Like, and she always used to beat Texas women. Like, I think I think she lost like maybe one or two games in her career at Baylor to Texas. Like, it wasn't many. But as I got older, even when I was in college, like, we would text back and forth, always on game day. She would text me about our team. I would text her about her team. And I stayed following her. And then when I graduated grad school in 2019. That was the year that she went to Tampa and won the national championship. So I flew from the men's NIT in New York that Texas won straight to Tampa for the women's Final Four. Yeah. And so I was there for that. Final Four happened to be in Tampa that year. So Final Four's in Tampa this year. She's got a pretty good track record in Tampa.
Some about LSU's history just in the places that they do win.
Right.
But Will?
in your opinion, there's a sense of familiar. I can't say that word, but
Familiarity.
Yeah, there you go. It's a
go.
tongue twister,
Right.
You got the big three. You got Flage, Michaela, Anissa. They were on the team last year. Flage was on the team in 2023 that won the Natty. In your opinion, how is this team? How does it compare to the team that won the Natty, or even just the team last year that made that Elite Eight run?
Every team's going to be different, but there's also going to be tons of similarities. I think this year we've got a legit three-headed monster.
Yeah.
Anissa under the basket. She's one of the best rebound, and I say one of the best rebound. I mean, we had Angel for 2 years, but G and I had this argument. It's not really an argument because we've been so lucky to coach both of them. But it's like, who did we think was a better rebounder? Angel, we think was a better offensive rebounder because when she missed her shot or someone on the team missed it, we knew she was getting it, and it was going right back up. And if they missed it or she missed it, she was going right back to grab it.
Yep.
Angel also had a few inches on Anissa, but I think Anissa, from a defensive rebounding standpoint,
boxing out,
getting positioning, knowing where shots are coming off. That's what's so impressive. And Anissa's maybe 6 foot. Like she may try and say she's taller than that, but like she's maybe 6 foot. And you look up in like the third quarter and she's got like 22 and 18.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like 6 foot though.
No. Right, exactly. No. And her presence is felt. I mean, whether she's going up against a 6'6" post player like Reagan Beers or a post her size, like she's gonna just be a dog. And so I think if we want to start with the national championship team, you look at why we won those 6 games in a row. It wasn't because of Angel Reese. It wasn't because of Alexis Morris. If we're being completely honest, they helped us win games, but it was our role players. It was our bench. National championship game, you've got Kateri Poole, you've got Poa, you've got Jasmine Carson. Like it was
Samaya even, right? Samaya in that Virginia Tech game.
Yeah, Samaya in the Virginia Tech game. Yep. Even Flage in the Virginia Tech game. Really helped spark that fourth quarter run. I mean, the Michigan game at home wasn't an easy one to start. We knew it was going to be physical. We pulled away then. I would say this, Alexis Morris and Angel, those two really helped propel a lot of our victories that year. There's no doubt about it. Alexis Morris is one of the best point guards I've ever been around.
But that's where that experience comes in.
Right. The 5th, 6th year senior, whatever she was, it didn't matter if she was scoring 25 a game or she had 5 points and 10 assists. Like, she knew how to be a floor general and run the team. So in 2023, you had a really good point guard, you had a good post player, and you had very good role players. You had a great shooter with Jasmine Carson. You had a young Flage who really didn't know much. Right. She just went out and played as hard as she could. Yeah. So then you go to last year. You had an experienced player with Haley Van Lith. You've got Michaela as a freshman, Flage, and then you've got Angel and Anissa down low. So you've got star power at every position. And it just sucked that we had to run into Iowa. Like, I mean, I think if we're in any other bracket I think we're probably in a Final Four, and then let the chips fall how they may in the Final Four. But I think last year people want to knock Haley all the time, whatever. Like, it wasn't Haley's fault. Like, we had the pieces. We just happened to play against the hottest player at the time, Caitlin Clark, and then you saw what she did in the WNBA this year.
And not only her, like what she did to propel Kate Martin's career, like
Stolke, like
exactly what I'm saying.
She made some of those players around her so much better. And you know, it like hindsight's 20/20, whatever. But I still think if Angel doesn't roll her ankle early in the game, and we were tied at halftime with them. They won the game by 7. And we didn't. Michaela missed a couple shots. Haley missed a couple shots late. Flage missed a couple. Like, we were in that game, and it really hurt me to see Angel get hurt in her last game. And she played, but you could see that she was in pain because she wasn't able to get to the level of the ball screen or even higher and hedge some of those screens and keep pushing Clark out.
And they knew
because that was the thing. When Angel couldn't keep Clark out of the paint, Clark was either finishing at the rim or,
she was passing out.
She was kicking it out to those open shooters. And give credit to Iowa. They hit some shots. And honestly, in a rematch game, that's what good players are going to do. They wanted to get their lick back and get to the Final Four. Do I think they were the better team? No. Because I think if we played them again and Angel was healthy, 100%, I think we probably beat them. But all credit to Iowa in that game. They made us make tough shots, and our defense wasn't where it needed to be. And so now you fast forward to this year. We've got a three-headed monster, like I said, with Flage, who before those shin splints and the shin inflammation was playing some of her best basketball. May have let her play a little bit too much while she was in some pain. But like I said at the beginning of the show, rest assured, she is 100%. She's so excited right now. But I think the most impressive thing, and I was talking to her mom about this the other night, Coach Starkey challenged Flage when we told her, because we told her in front of the team, hey, we are shutting you down until postseason. This was before the Ole Miss game. And Coach Starkey said, Flage, you can look at this from one of two ways. You can either pout about it and go through your treatment recovery and, be self-centered or whatever, or you can really grow from it. So Coach Starkey challenged her and said, what are you going to do on a daily basis to grow as a player, to grow as a teammate, to grow as an individual, like as a person? Because when the game of basketball gets taken away from you unexpectedly,
you don't realize, you
don't realize how great you have it. So I've had some really good conversations with Flage over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long she's been out, about what she's learned. And you can go back in some of our games and timeouts. Flage's coming up to me, and sometimes in games she may come up to me and want to look at the stat sheet, see how many points or rebounds she has. But I think you talk about growth. She's coming up to me in timeouts as she calls herself Coach Foe, Coach Four. Sorry. How many rebounds we got? How many points does their best player have? How many free throws have we shot? What's their field goal percentage? Like, how are we guarding? How many turnovers do we have? So it's like, okay, now you're starting to think how the coaches think,
which is amazing for players.
We see that, like, well, she's mad Michaela only has 2 rebounds. Well, go tell her. She's much rather hear it from you than from 6 coaches. So,
and that's the leadership that y'all have been looking for,
exactly,
all year.
Exactly. Right? And I think just being sidelined opened her eyes a lot to the game of basketball, because she's always in the moment. She's not afraid of the moment. But when you take a step back and look at it from a different perspective, I think she can see where some of the frustration from the staff comes from in games that we haven't won, in situations where we may not have taken great shots, or we're turning the ball over. And so now having her back in practice the past couple of days, it's like, guys, this is what we talked about. This is what we talk about in the film room. This is what I saw. But Flage, you can talk. And talk is cheap sometimes. You got to go back it up. So I think getting back into the swing of things, that's why the scrimmage, the inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday was so important. It was Flage's first day really getting back on the court. And then obviously these first couple of days in practice, it's like, now it's time to ball. Like, and I'm working on something for her right now. Probably be done with it tonight or tomorrow. But basically, it's a little mixtape for her to get her thinking about that Flage that was in the playoffs last year. Because that's what we're going to need. We're going to need the Flage that was crashing the boards.
The Flage that beat UCLA 2 years ago?
UCLA,
a year ago.
UCLA last year. And fought in that Iowa game. Was all over the offensive glass, was hitting shots. And then, heck, the 2 games at home. I mean, Rice came in here and gave us a ball game. And
it's a scrappy team.
And so did Middle Tennessee. I mean, we had 2 tough ones at home.
3-point shooting team.
And we're going to have 2 tough ones this weekend at home. I mean, don't get me wrong. We are not underestimating anyone that shows up because we know we're going to get their best shot. It doesn't matter that San Diego State finished 4th in their league. Any team that's in the big dance is capable of beating you.
Right.
Or they wouldn't be there. And San Diego State put some wins together in their conference tournament. They won, and they're in the big dance. And George Mason is another team that
could very well go and knock somebody off.
I mean, there's people on ESPN that are picking George Mason for that 11-6 upset. George Mason's won a bunch of games in a row. They won their conference tournament. I think they've won their last 5 by like an average of 19 points.
So they fit the criteria of
their tournament
March. And that's what we were going to ask you. The next kind of question is, you've already started to look at the film, right? San Diego State, they're a smaller team, right? What, I guess, how do you think you kind of match up against that, and how do you kind of factor in that quickness? Do you kind of play small lineups with Kaylin, and without giving away everything, right? Like, what kind of challenges does that pose for y'all? Or do you think that's kind of a better matchup for y'all who, you don't have the craziest height, but you can still run the pace?
Yeah, I think one thing that we've talked about as a staff is this isn't a game that you can look past. But when you think about San Diego State or teams like that from the West Coast, all you want to think about is, oh, God, they're just a three-point shooting team. They just
throw it up.
So San Diego State doesn't. They only make about 4.5 threes a game. So we're going to be our full our defensive principles are going to be as normal as they are. But I think it's what are we going to do? Like we got to be ourselves, and we've got to get back to running. It doesn't really matter what the lineup combinations are. We've got to start getting the ball inside. And that's not saying our post players have to score 20 a game, but our offense is so much better when the ball touches the paint, when we reverse it, when we kick out to open shooters.
That's the system, like that's.
And that's just what we do. So the ball, we've played a lot of one-on-one basketball the past couple of weeks, and not the whole time, but like there's been certain times where we have. And it's not because we have selfish kids. It's just they just want to go hoop, and we've showed them like, hey, we can go hoop, but like let's do it as a team. So.
Let's make it easier.
San Diego State doesn't have a ton of size, so I think that's a game that we really want to focus on getting the ball in the paint, attacking them, and running. And then if you win that game, you'll either play George Mason or Florida State. Obviously, people know what Florida State has.
And they have a lot of height, right?
Yeah, they've got size, but it's not like a big, strong like Texas. Texas has big, strong post players. It's
like a stretch, right?
Like Samaya, like that, but they've got elite scorers. I mean, they've got the leading scorer in the nation, averaging about 25 a game. But she also averages about 5 assists a game. They make 8.5 threes a game. So they're very, very crisp when it comes to offense. Defense, not their strong suit.
Right.
So we've got to execute offensively. We've got to push the ball. But we've got to play defense.
And one thing that I've kind of like noticed, not to cut you off, Joe, but it feels like LSU shows up defensively every game. Like that is the Bob Starkey, that is the Kim Mulkey way, is you preach on defense. I mean, defense wins championships. Look at all those turnovers that Iowa caused in the championship game. Look at Virginia Tech, I want to say, had 18 or 19 in the Final Four game. And I'm looking even at in just past years in the tournament. Like turnovers it wins or loses you a ball game. And it feels like that defensive kind of, I guess, filter is what y'all want, right?
And you know, we kind of got away from that. Obviously, there's going to be outliers. The Alabama game went into overtime. Oklahoma game was a very high-scoring game.
That was just crazy.
That was just,
But look at the Ole Miss game. We had 24 turnovers at home, and we gave up 80-something points to them. We gave up 54 points in the second half to a team that averages in the 50s in conference play. Like, that's not who we are. But then you go look at our game against Texas in the semifinal of the SEC tournament, and that game was in the 30s in the fourth quarter. We were back to our defense. So we've got to find that fine line of being very, very good defensively, but also being able to execute offensively. And so some of the games I've gone back and watched at Florida State, like against North Carolina, against Duke, like those games were in the 50s, but I think we're better offensively than some of those teams. So it's like, how can we be good offensively, but also do what we do defensively? You put that together, it's gonna be hard to beat. Like
it's finding that balance, right?
I think that's like you hear it on people talking about it on ESPN all the time. LSU can beat anyone, but they can also lose anyone. We've seen that all year. Like we've beaten good teams, but we haven't beaten the great ones. We haven't beaten South Carolina, and we didn't beat Texas this year either time. So you know, Ole Miss, we didn't have Flage. We can use that as an excuse, but go look at the turnovers. We didn't turn it over 24 times. Texas game, both times, missed a lot of free throws. Alabama game, we missed some free throws. So free throws, taking care of the ball, and defense, like that's what gets you to the next round in March. And you know, one thing that I will say about that team, you asked about the teams, how they varied from each year. I think last year and the year before, you saw a group of kids that just didn't want to go home. And unfortunately, last year with Iowa, like Caitlin Clark wasn't letting her team go home with some of the shots that she made. It was just unbelievable in the second half.
Jaw-dropping.
But that national championship year, like LaDeja, Jasmine, like you had kids that just
elevated each other's play.
And Alexis Morris, they didn't want to see their careers end. And you know, it's going to end one way or another. You're either going to end winning that last game, or you're going to be like one of the 360 whatever teams that don't win that last game. So only one can win the last game, and I've been very fortunate like y'all talked about 2 years ago to win that last game. And there'd be no better feeling to do it. But one thing we talk about, we set goals every year, and they're not unrealistic goals. We don't come in there day one and say, hey, we have to win a national championship this year. We talk about we want to win 90% of our non-conference games. We did that. We won all of our non-conference games. We wanted to go undefeated at home. We fell one short of that. We talked about wanting to finish top 4 in the SEC tournament because that guarantee or top 4 in the SEC.
Yeah, get you a bye.
To get you a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament. We did that. And then the last goal is get a top 4 or top 16 overall seed, so you can host the first 2 rounds at home.
Right.
After that, we don't have any. We don't say, oh, we got to go to a Sweet 16. We got to go to Elite Eight. If we can host the first 2 games at home, even though it's a 9:15 tip, I mean, I like our chances at home.
Yeah.
We've played very, very well historically at home. Let's see what happens Saturday night.
Right.
If we're fortunate enough to win that, turn around, play Monday. It'll hopefully be a night game. I think they're saying it should correlate with the Saturday night, Monday night.
It's the TV stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, everybody cares about TV.
Everybody cares about TV, and everybody cares about LSU being on TV.
On TV.
So,
it's true. It's
the biggest 3 letters in the country. I
it
say.
is. Yeah. It really. It's. I went to arguably one of the biggest
brand
schools, and it's even different here.
Yeah.
Like in Texas, had their own network.
Yeah,
Longhorn.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, it was a good run.
It was a good run. Yeah. But no, it's different here, and God, it's like we were talking about on the way in. Like this is the best time of year.
Yep.
Like, this is what you do it for, and that's the message I think Coach is trying to get across to the kids, because that's the one downside about having the conference tournament 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, is after that you don't know who you're playing for 2 weeks. So staying focused and keeping that energy.
Try not to look ahead. It's hard.
Yeah, because you're not preparing for an opponent, but if you do focus during that time, you can really clean up a lot of things.
Yeah,
that's true.
So now that we know who we're playing, the excitement level's gone up. It's also fun because like this time of year, like Nike, they're sending us this bunch of stuff. Vanessa Bryant sent the girls Kobe's and like some sweatsuits.
Those were nice.
Yeah. Kim's got her own shoe now.
Kim's got her own shoe on Nike.
And we were going to talk about that later. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Like
it's like
the anticipation.
It's like the holidays, and it's like if you can't get excited for this time of year, like why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Why are you playing basketball? Why are you in coaching? Like I've got buddies all over the country on the men's side and even on the women's side who haven't been fortunate enough to make the tournament. They're like, go win it, go win it, go win it. Like I will say this, and G and I were talking about it at the selection. I said, G, this never gets old. Like hearing your name called on selection Sunday is one of the greatest feelings, and some people take it for granted. But like, I will say, because Coach was sitting in front of me for the selection, like I saw how excited she got, and like she's 40 years into it.
It fires you up.
It fires you up seeing that your head coach, who's already won 4 national championships, like, okay, let's go. It's go time now. And she pulled the staff aside yesterday after practice and said, guys, I'm in playoff mode. Like, playoff mode is activated. I need y'all at your best. I need y'all locked in. I appreciate everything y'all do. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And so we're getting ready, because that's the other tough part, is with the 2 games Saturday, we'll watch that game between George Mason and Florida State. But
Sunday, right?
Saturday night, and then we'll play after them. And then Sunday, we've got to be ready to present a scout on whatever team wins that game.
Right.
Because we get one day to prepare for a game on Monday.
It's incredibly hard.
So that's another tough thing, is like, all right, as a staff, what can we start doing now that we know who we could potentially play? Are there any similarities, like ways that Florida State and George Mason guard things, or is there similar stuff they run? Like, what can you find that's similar that we can throw at our team and not tell them who we're preparing for? But as a staff, like if both these teams play zone, all right, let's work against zone some. Like if either of those teams press, like let's spend 10 to 15 minute segments pressing in practice. So that's where a big staff really comes into play this time of year. It's because like you can't put all that on Bob Starkey to like go watch. I mean, because that man will watch 9 games on the team.
And like if he would do it.
Yeah,
like,
and he loves it. But there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
Like, and that's why it's so important this time of year to be locked in, laser focused, as Tom Brady says. Like that's one of my favorite coach room is you got to be laser focused because you can spend all year. We've been doing this September, October, November, December, January, February. Here we are in March. Like, you just want to throw all those months out and say we did this for nothing, or do we want to lock in? Because, like, if we're being honest, you look at some of these kids on our team and what they're doing in the NIL world, and, like, this stuff can change your life. It can change your life as a coach. It can change your life as a player, as a person. I mean, Flage will say it over and over, like, winning that national championship changed her life. And I'm not saying we're a shoo-in to win a national championship because there's some great teams, but it's like if you can put everything you have into your team and this program for however long it is, like, you can really, really do something special.
And people are going to notice it, right?
Yeah.
So let's kind of go into the fun part that you get to kind of enjoy a little more than just talking regular ball. And I know we're having fun here, though.
Right.
I'm having fun here.
I'm having a great time.
Will, you got the first one. It's a fun one. And I know this one's going to be – you're going to be very passionate about this one.
Oh, boy.
We know Kim Mulkey. She's known for outside of coaching. She's known for what she wears on the sidelines, on the court. The whole staff really great stuff. Look, you see yourself.
Look
on that
at
screen
Bub.
right there.
I remember this night. It was the pink out night.
Yeah, the pink out. Yeah. In your opinion, who on this staff has the best style outside of Coach Mulkey? Outside of Coach Mulkey.
This is a hard one.
It's a tough one. And it's hard to pick one name. I'll rewind a little bit because, we had this discussion one of the first weeks of the school year when we came to LSU. We were sitting actually in the football stadium at our old offices, and Coach was talking about it. And during COVID, all the coaches switched to the quarter zips and weren't dressing nice. And Coach looked at all of us, and she's like, guys, do we want to be like everyone else? Like, we're trying to rebuild a program here.
Yeah.
So you spend a little bit of money, go out in the community, meet some people, and get a wardrobe together. Like, I'm not saying this is really before the feathers and the sparkles and everything, but she was like, let's look presentable. And it doesn't have to be LSU stuff, but, like, let's dress the part. And she said, does anyone on staff have a problem with that? And we were all like, oh, like, you're telling us we get to pick out our own fits for games? All right, let's go.
It's like on TV too, and you can see my fit. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, way back when, my mom actually helped Kim dress a little bit.
Okay.
I wouldn't give all the credit to Mom.
Okay. All right.
Mom used to help Kim. My mom had some friends in the fashion world back in Waco, and Mom introduced him to Kim, and they would always help Kim do outfits. 2005 national championship game, Kim didn't even bring 2 suits, and Jennifer on our staff just happened to pack one that she had bought at Dillard's. And Kim's trying to put her outfit together and didn't have a necklace, and my mom gave her her necklace to wear for the game. So, it's something that Coach is very passionate about, and I think the sparkles and the feathers, that kind of just happened. Like, Jamie Glass with Queen of Sparkle came to Kim and was like, hey, like, would you consider wearing this? And it was the Iowa State game. It was our first ranked win at home. She had the butterfly jacket on.
It was an 8 p.m. game.
It was a night game.
That.
Like, crowd wasn't great, but, like, you could start to sense, like, okay, we're starting to build this thing.
It was first year, right?
Yeah, first year. And then, like, a week later, you start seeing, like, up in the 200, sparkle jacket. And then Jamie was like, hey, Kim, you need to wear another one. And what? Okay, so she wore, I think it was against Missouri. It was a gold one with hearts on it. Like, okay, we're starting to see more. And then you started seeing grown men wearing sparkles and sequins. And so it started building. And now you walk into the PMAC and it looks like a damn 80s disco party. Like, you've got grown men wearing sparkly jackets. You've got little kids wearing it. Like, Mardi Gras floats with Kim and feathers. Like, so it started as like, hey, let's embrace this. We're at a new place. Like, we want to dress the part. But I will say this: when your coach dresses the part, like, you got to come with it as a staff. And so Johnny on our staff, he's retired now, but I mean, Johnny used to dress to the nines. I mean, he'd have great suits, always had great ties, great shoes. Jennifer always dresses well. Jennifer's kind of been the fashionista. She's the one that handles all the NIL stuff on our team and in our program. We do a big glam day with the girls before the season starts.
Right.
And Jen's in charge of that. So I think I don't want to like pick anyone, but like look at Coach G. Like when Coach G got to the staff, like me and him were kind of like, all right, we're not gonna like take advantage of this, but like we can mix in some streetwear. Like I think for the camo game, G's always the type that'll tell me, he's like, you love a theme, like whether it's the pink game, whether it's the camo game, whatever it is. He's like, you're always gonna dress to a theme. Like I had a Mardi Gras sweater this year. But we did a deal with Haspel, so they wanted us to wear the Haspel jacket.
Right.
But,
I think everybody wore that. Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, Coach G, like he'll put on Supreme. Off-White's one of my favorite brands.
Yep.
I will say this, like I walked in the locker room for the Stanford game, and I never thought like I could wear a hoodie on the sideline like for a game. Daphne had worn one earlier in the year for a non-conference or for a preseason game. But G kept telling me, he's like, bro, you can wear it. And I had a pair of like neon green dunks that kind of matched.
Okay.
And I do our marketing. I handle a lot of our marketing. And it was my understanding that it was going to be a neon game for the students. So when I picked this fit out a couple weeks before the Stanford game, I'm like, oh, this is going to be perfect. Well, guess it didn't really get out that it was going to be a neon game. So here I am walking into the gym mid-December, and I've got black pants on, an off-white, like bright neon hoodie on, and neon shoes. Walk in the locker room, and G goes, damn, you going to Fred's tonight? I was like, oh, no. So G puts me and Kramer in a group text. He's like, Joe's got his Fred's fit on tonight. And I was like, oh, my God.
No.
But, and I'm so glad we won that game because, and not that Kim would have been mad about it, but I was like, Kim might have fired me for wearing a hoodie on the sideline. But, no, I think as long as it's appropriate and looks good, I mean, we're not going to have anyone wearing, like, holes in their pants or, like, chopped up clothes.
I love how the managers get down to it, too. Yeah. The managers are showing up and they're warming the players up in heels, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, no one else is doing this.
Y'all wait for the NCAA tournament. I will. That's all I'll say is I've had some managers calling me. They've done some closet shopping.
All right.
We're helping them out because for normal games, they don't dress up everything. They'll wear the quarter zips and everything. But for the NCAA tournament, they get to dress up.
Yep, I remember vividly that they pop out.
Oh yeah, they pop out. So we'll have a few, or all of them, but a couple of them had texted me and they're like, "Hey, like, you got any leftover clothes?" I'm like, "I've got a ton, and come get what you want. You can wear what you want." But it's so fun. Like, I'm big into fashion.
Yeah.
I'll say this: Kramer's extremely big into fashion. He's the one that's always ahead of all the trends.
The Balenci,
G's Balenciaga shirt for the national championship. I was actually telling KG, because KG's from Tampa, I was like, hey, is there a mall in Tampa? Like, if we're fortunate enough to go, because the day before the national championship,
you're going to get a fit in there.
I didn't have a fit. And so I went with my mom, and we picked one out. But Kramer's always the type, because we live together. And before I leave the house before a game, I'm like, yo, is this okay? Like, and sometimes he'd be like, yeah, fire. Sometimes he'd be like, no, that's terrible. Like, put on a different pair of shoes or take that off. Like, that doesn't look good. So it's real fun. And, like, G hates it sometimes. Now I have to send G what I'm wearing because for the Tennessee Whiteout game 2 years ago, we both came out with a white striped suit on.
Y'all had the same suit on, huh?
It wasn't the exact same, but it was very, very similar. Yeah. And he was, like, not happy about it. And one thing he always gives me crap about is, like, when we're traveling, I always bring a huge suitcase and a duffel bag. And if I bring a suit, I'm bringing a hanging bag too. So I travel with a lot of stuff. But everyone's like, why do you have that big suitcase? I'm like, guys, there's like 3 pair of clothes in there. The rest is shoes. I always overpack shoes, whether it's dress shoes or Nike, like whatever it is.
Yep.
And I could just send you a picture, but sometimes the iPhone camera doesn't do that. Like, it doesn't really match. So if I think about it before, I'll bring it to the gym, and G's like, all right, boom, boom, wear that. But if not, I bring it on the road. So if we're fortunate enough to get out of Baton Rouge these first 2 games, I can assure you I will be bringing a lot of stuff to Spokane. So
if it's cold down there too.
Oh yeah.
So get ready. But to kind of round it off today, funniest player on this team, and also funniest coaching moment, funniest moment with the coaching staff that you've had ever. And I know that's kind of some deep dives, but
we've got some kids with just all different types of personalities.
or funniest story from a player then, and funniest story from coaching staff, I guess. If that'll narrow it down.
Yeah,
even.
I'm trying to think. We've got a lot. Really anything with Flage. Anytime that she gets up and either does a Kim Mulkey impression or a Bob Starkey impression.
Oh, man.
I will say we had a recruiting visit this fall, and we did kind of like a game night at Coach Mulkey's house, and we broke up into different groups, and they all got to go closet shopping in Mulkey's closet.
I think I saw a video.
I will say Izzy Besselman.
Yep.
I mean, I was a walk-on. Izzy was a walk-on. Now she's on scholarship. Hasn't played this year for some medical reasons. But Izzy's become like a sister to me because her family, I've known her family since she was a real little kid because she used to always come to Coach Mulkey's basketball camps. But that walk-on bond, it's unbreakable. And so I've been able, and Emily Ward was the same way. But seeing Izzy just being able to fit in, and it was that night at Mulkey's house, and she had the full suit on.
With the wig, right?
With the wig, and she got down in Mulkey's stance and started talking like Mulkey, and I was dying laughing. Like, it was hilarious.
What did she think of that?
That's the thing. That's the thing. And Izzy came up to me like, "What? She can't get that match. It's not like she's not going to play me." So I've been there before, so
that's hilarious.
But no, we've had some really good times. I will say this: I don't know if it's funny or it just was miserable. We went to Europe this summer as a team, and it's crazy that was already almost a year ago. But Aaliyah Del Rosario just had surgery, so she was in a boot. And Aaliyah's not a small person, but if you're familiar with like Greece and Croatia, a lot of cobblestone,
a lot of climbing.
Yeah, a lot of climbing.
Yes.
And so some of the uphill pushing of her wheelchair or scooter in Europe in 100-degree heat. And it's not like, oh yeah, we're going back to the hotel to shower. You can get back. Like, you're on the bus from like 8 a.m. to after dinner, like full sweat, like. But yeah, pushing Lily around Europe was very fun. We actually, and a shout out to our managers, we left 2 managers in London.
That's a fun place to be.
They overslept. They overslept and missed their flight from London to Croatia, so they got to spend 2 extra days in London.
Nice.
That was a pretty funny moment because, like, yes, it was a team trip, but at the same time, it's like,
where is this person?
Like, Mulkey, like we are always so worried about where our players are, where the coaches are, and we don't. Not it's not like we forget about our managers, but it's like
they be in their own world sometimes.
Right?
Yeah,
they just, and it wasn't because they had been out. It was, I guess, the jet lag, the time change.
Yeah, maybe so.
They forgot to set an alarm, and so the 2 of them, they got to spend a little extra time in London.
Wonder if that was intentional. Were they roommates?
Yeah, they were roommates.
They might have been intentional.
Could have been.
Could have been. Like, hey, what's it, the Lizzie McGuire movie where they just go do their own thing?
Yeah.
So
it's like Home Alone, but with basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've had a lot of good times. And I was talking to our SID today.
Mr. Grant.
Like, we're working on our end of season video. Obviously, stuff like that takes a long time, but it's like this journey, so to speak, started back not in September, but like August, late July, early August when we were in Europe. A lot of team building stuff. Luckily, didn't have to play any games over there, so it was just getting to be kids and go explore
enjoying
places, that you may not be able to ever go. Like the game of basketball. Especially now, and when I was in college, I was fortunate to go all over the world. We went to China, the Bahamas, Australia. Like, we got to go all over, but I'm just so blessed that this game's gotten to take me to so many places. And that's what I want these kids to know is, like, don't feel rushed to leave. And it's different. On the men's side, you can leave after 1 year, but it's like you've got it really, really good here.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that would do anything to be in your place. There's only we have 13 kids on the team. There's only 13 of y'all that get to do what we get to do at a school like this because there's no NILSU at other schools. Like, other schools have good NIL, but from a branding standpoint, if you use these 4 years here the right way, you can set yourself up for ever.
For life, yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the people that have come out
here,
of this place, Shaq, Honey Badger, Odell, Joe Burrow, Jamar, Like,
I mean, these guys are getting paid. Like,
and now you have Angel Reese,
Simone Augustus,
Simone,
Flage, and they're just household names. Like we were with a recruit the other day, and Angel called G, and we were just chopping it up. Like
she loves
like
messing
Angel's
with G,
not on the cover of Vogue or an unrivaled winning a championship. Like she's just another player.
Just Angel.
She's just Angel. And we love her, and we're so appreciative of what she did, and how beneficial she is for our program. And I think it's going to be so cool to get to see her come back home and play a preseason game.
Gonna be awesome.
That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be packed out.
I got
there.
my ticket already.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
But that's going to do it for us here today. Big thank you to William and Randall for joining me, and big thank you to you, Joe, for not only coming in today, but taking time out of that busy schedule, especially in one of the biggest weeks of y'all season. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. And one thing I'll end with, because it's kind of PSA from Coach. We got one game guaranteed at home, hopefully two.
Yep.
Coach Mulkey has purchased all the student tickets once again. It's blasted out on social media. We're going to continue to push it out.
Check your emails.
Your emails. All you have to do is claim the ticket. There's no spring break. There's no Mardi Gras. It's just a Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Right. And we're working on some stuff right now. Details will probably be out tomorrow or Thursday about kind of a pregame tailgate outside the PMAC on Saturday. And we're working to maybe have something with some crawfish pregame on Monday. I know students love crawfish. So maybe some sort of boil on Monday for the students and fans. But we get 2 more chances to pack this place.
Right.
And
especially for those seniors.
Yeah, for those seniors who didn't get to end senior night how they wanted to. It's kind of a chance for them to feel what it's like to hear that LSU crowd one more time at home and hopefully propel us to 2 victories at home and keep this thing going because it's a long, long off season, but it's a heck of a lot better if you make a deep run in the tournament. So claim your tickets, show up, show out, be loud, do what you normally do, and get ready for another March Madness run.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
thank you, Joe. I'm Andre Champagne, and this has been a KLSU Sports Interview.